Hello, folks. Good morning and welcome. It's June the 14th, and in the calendar, two great events on the planet. Number one, the greatest spectator event in the World Cup kicks off today, and today marks the official end of the month-long Ramadan. The enduring lessons of Ramadan must not be lost on us: sacrifice, tolerance, and forgiveness. And if you will, obedience to the will of Allah. Now today, June 12, the discussion. June 12, the ideal source for truth and reconciliation. A truth commission is a body tasked with discovering and revealing past wrongdoings by a government or governments in the hope of resolving leftovers from the past. It is also true that in their truth-seeking and reconciling functions, there are political implications. The subdivisions of these include what the members of the Commission determine are the truth, justice, memory, reparation, and recognition, and thereafter decide whose needs should be served. As daunting as this may appear to be, some countries had flirted with the idea in the past. Argentina, Bangladesh, Brazil, Canada, Chile, Chad, Sierra Leone, and South Africa are some of the countries that went there. In our country, we had a Truth and Reconciliation Commission. Let's have a debate this morning. I have one of my two guests. Kunle Odufoa is a journalist and also a public affairs analyst. I greet you, sir.
Good morning.
Let's just say I'm expecting Comrade Nelson Ekujumi. He should be here any moment soon. Comrade, Truth and Reconciliation.
Yeah.
June 12 has given us the impetus, they laid the foundation stone. We can build on it.
Yes, good morning, viewers. I believe we can really build on that. But we must take cognizance of the fact that countries that have gone through what we are going through have had Truth and Reconciliation Committee at one point or the other. Even during the reign of Obasanjo, we had the Oputa panel, which was supposed to be a Truth and Reconciliation Committee. But unfortunately, the panel
Actually,
for so long.
Dubbed the Human Rights Violations Investigation Commission.
It was to be to reconcile all contending interests. But then when you look at June 12, in relationship to this, the late MKO Abiola reconciled the whole of this nation. He was a man of the people. He reconciled with people from various parties, across tribe, across religion, across sectional interest, across whatever interest. For the people to all come around on June 12 and say, okay, we are reconciling with this man because we believe he can reconcile all the almost 500 ethnic groups in this country. But unfortunately, some ganged up to kill that dream. But interestingly, we are in the month of Ramadan. Ramadan is supposed to teach tolerance, obedience, sacrifice, acceptance, and unity. Because when it is time to pray, you see everybody, irrespective of religion, tribe, or whatever interests.
And status.
They are all gathered under Allahu Akbar. That is, Allah is the greatest. And for this action of June 12 being taken, I think it is divine Very, very, very divine. At a time nobody expected it. If Abiola was able to reconcile all contending interests in his lifetime, wherever the pillar of sports in Africa is today, he will be laughing at long last. But let's take a look at the past. They deliberately killed the teaching of history in our schools. But those who did that, they knew what they want to do with the future of this country. And they failed to realize the fact that history is like smoke. You cannot cover it. It will definitely ooze out.
Yeah, but when some sections are telling you, don't go back, what do you do?
The past is always the reflection of the present. And the present, the reflection of the future. Because if you don't look from where you are coming, you won't know where you are going to. It's unfortunate that some people wanted to trivialize June 12 as a sectional issue, which is more beyond that. People dared all contending forces to queue under option A4. That is, believing that, look, we believe in this man, we can queue behind him. But what happened on the 12th of this month should serve as real setting the tone for reconciliation.
As a source, I said
yes.
A source, an ideal source for reconciliation.
It is.
Kuli, I like history. Biafra agitation comes from a bloody civil war, which was triggered by a poorly executed military coup of January 15, 1966. So that's history. If you don't go back, how do you redress?
That's what I'm saying. If we don't go back, there is no way we could redress. If you look at 1966, 1966 was a coup against the government of the day. June 12 was a coup against the will, the dictates, the conscience, and the wants of the Nigerian people.
All right. Another angle to it is the Niger Delta dissension, which derives from perceived alienation. Did you get that?
Yes,
you must address that.
I do. Why, and when you look at the Niger Delta, the issue of the Niger Delta was aggravated by the mother of Ken Saro-Wiwa and his other colleagues. Because since they started in Oloibiri to prospect for oil, if you dig something, you must be able to cover the hole. The foreigners came digging through, making the money. But no effort was made to safeguard the environment while all this was being done.
All right, you have a helper here because Comrade Nelson Ekujumi is here at last.
Yes.
And then just to add that the coup of 1966 was on January 15.
Yes.
The Niger Delta Wahala was birthed on February 23rd, when for 12 days, Adakaburu, you mentioned, bless his soul, stood up in arms against the sitting government at the time. Now, let's take this breather. We'll come back, quite a lot to discuss. Okay, then, let's meet and greet Nelson Ekujumi, who is a rights activist, an agitator, and of course, General Secretary, June 12 Coalition. I greet you.
Good morning, Citizen Jones. Good morning, our viewers.
Yeah. Of course, you know the thrust, June 12 as ideal source for truth and reconciliation. The president set the tone when on Tuesday he publicly apologized to the Abiola family and by extension hundreds of thousands of people who were hurt in one way or another by the criminal annulment.
Treasonable annulment.
Yeah.
Yes, thank you very much. Yes, I think Mr. President did the most appropriate thing, because you could even see it at that venue when Professor Wole Soyinka came on stage and said a lot of what he had inside of him was taken off by the unexpected apology. And the truth of the matter is that, you know, as human beings, like we always say, it is human to sin, and divine to, you know, to forgive. So,
and not to blame it on the other man is humane.
Yes, very true, very true, very true. So the truth of the matter is that, you know, the Nigerian people for the past 25 years have been aggrieved. A lot of us have been were in the trenches in the last 25 years. We lost so many lives. Businesses were destroyed. People became orphans, you know.
Reason took flight.
Yes, reason took flight. But, you know, with that apology and with the declaration of that day, because a lot of people tend to make the mistake of equating that day with Chief MK Abiola. Abiola was just a symbol, was just the custodian of the people's mandate. He wasn't actually about Abiola, because for the 14 million people that went to the polls that day, Abiola only performed his own singular vote on that day. The other 40 million plus was from Nigeria. So I think it is instructive what Mr. President has done, that, you know, we should learn, you know, to forgive one another where we have heard and where we have done a thorough introspection. Because I know, looking at the countenance of Mr. President and how he made that statement, which was also reciprocated by the daughter of the late acclaimed winner of the June 12, 1993 presidential election.
It's no longer acclaimed.
Okay.
Winner.
Okay, if you say so, but for
No. Remove it from your dictionary. Is no longer an acclaimed winner by that open apology.
By implication, but you know, you and I know very well that we are still demanding for the unofficial recognition according to the laws of Nigeria.
Maybe that's semantics. We'll go back there.
Okay.
Kunle, a Truth and Reconciliation Commission, you talked about the Obasanjo's philandering with the idea.
Yes.
The reconciliation aspect angle to it is conciliatory. You know, when you reconcile, you are rubbing balms on frayed nerves. You must go the whole hog.
Definitely. The events of...
in fact, it is restorative.
When we look at the events of what happened day before yesterday, it is un-African for an African head of state or president to apologize for whatever. Because
it takes guts.
Yes, it takes a lot of guts. And even those who spoke, some of the SDP members of your have all gone, some have gone into the SDP, into the PDP. And they all came on, spoke their mind about the current government and what is happening in the country. It is all in an effort to look for a solution. And that solution will itself bring in reconciliation. It's not about politics. It is about bringing everybody to the table. Listen to what Anakwe said, the former Speaker of the House of Reps. Listen to what Yosha said.
Former Senate President.
Yes, they all spoke from the bottom of their heart. That date became so symbolic between the people, their representatives, and the government, which is Mr. President. Nobody ever believed that day would ever come alive. Whereby Gani Fawehinmi and Abiola and the presidency will stand shoulder
to shoulder.
To shoulder. And I believe in the spirit of that, Nigerians should take a cue. And let us believe that we have no other country to call our own, like Buhari rightly said earlier, other than this country.
Yeah.
And that we have to unite in order to build this country today and for the future.
Nelson, not just because great artists had sang about it, had, performed about it, but because it is trite and right to say peace comes when justice is served.
Very true. Because you look back into our history. Some people, maybe because they are afraid of the truth, they don't want you to go back into history because the past is supposed to guide against future occurrences. You look back into our history, look at the course of the genesis of the genesis of the Civil War. You realize that it was as a result of the poorly sectional executed military coup.
Seeming.
Well, if you say seeming, now we are going to have a clash there, because when I said acclaimed, even though in my heart of hearts everybody knows that
I'm not here to please you, but I'm saying it appeared, the people, it's perceived by a section of the country that the coup was.
No, but that is the fact, that the coup.
What's the fact again?
The fact is that the execution of the coup was sectional.
Was poor.
Was poor, and it was sectional. And that's the fact of history.
And well, mine is because it was poorly executed.
Yeah.
Its perception.
And that gave back to a retaliatory coup.
Yes, that gave back
of
to
July 27.
July 27, yeah.
And from then we've never recovered.
Yeah.
Both coups were largely avoidable.
Very true, very true, very true.
Yeah, you're talking about truth.
Yes, the truth is that, it is time for us now, with the tone, with the template set by Mr. President, to do an introspection and learn where we have gone wrong, and honestly within ourselves admit that, look, some people from our part of the country organized a coup majorly, and when this coup was executed, some of the actors, either by hindsight or by error or commission, didn't play their role actively as was planned. And the consequences was what led to the civil war, to the retaliation. And whether we like it or not, the problems of Nigeria are such that unless and until we all come together jettisoning ethnic and religious divide, which is what June 12 stands for. The unity of Nigeria, devoid of all these primordial sentiments that has kept us apart. That's the only way to
Nelson,
go for
so
a better.
Building on that, Kunle, just a minute. Building on that, my brother Kunle talked about Obasanjo's attempt at reconciling aggrieved minds in 1999 when he set up the Oputa panel.
Yes.
The report was handed in 2002.
Yes.
Between then and now, nothing.
That's the irony of the Nigerian state.
Good. Can we go back? Is it possible to go back there?
Why not? If we know we want to really heal the old wounds. Because whether we like it or not, we used to say, you cannot have peace when there's no justice. All you have is the peace of the graveyard. And if you want to know how there's peace in the graveyard, I think you need to ask those who live very close to the graveyard, that even in the midnight, we are told the spirits themselves, come up, to make their own disruptions in the system. So for us, I don't think
the spirits are also aggrieved.
The spirits could also be aggrieved. Yeah, okay. That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
So the truth of the matter is that there's nothing wrong in us going back, and if need be, implementing some of the recommendations of that panel, because that panel was meant to heal old wounds. We have all come together to agree that we have wronged one another, and until we realize that, error, that human failings on our individual part, that because it is only God that is perfect, that is the way we can get a better country.
Mr. Odufuwa, yes. There's a lot of historical revisionism.
Definitely.
Revisionism in the country. Historians won't want to go there. How do you correct that in looking forward?
You see, like Riley said, there is no way we can go forward without looking back. Take a look at how people like Herbert Macaulay started the agitation that gave birth to the regions, that eventually gave birth to our independence. and look at what the colonial masters did as early as 1915, 1918 against the then Oba of Lagos over the water tax law against Eshubu Ayeleko. Look at how Abat Macaulay led the then Chief Oluwato, the Privy Council, to fight for his land. And unfortunately, the British government never left Nigeria to be a united country. They had divided us before they left.
Kunle, I hear that, and I fight to believe it.
There is no way you can fight to believe that. Because while Obafemi Awolowo was introducing free education in the Southwest, the British government encouraged the North to enroll their own children in the army. Instead of taking a singular program of making sure there was education all over and all round. It was that bitterness that we took into the 1959 election that gave birth to our independence. But was that a real independence? Have we ever recovered from the bitterness of that period to date? But like Nelson rightly said, and like you rightly agreed, let us take June 12 as a new page, as a new chapter, if indeed we love this country.
As an opportunity to write a new narrative.
And redefine ourselves.
Yeah.
And redefine the future of this country. It is possible. But, like you said, we cannot ignore history. Some of those who are the leading lights for the annulment of June 12 are today enjoying the gains of June 12 in the National Assembly. I don't want to name names.
Please don't. If it doesn't,
one of them was a Senate president for so many years.
If it won't help us, don't name anybody.
No, it's instructive for history.
It is instructive. History does not tell lies. If today somebody said, don't give this man this mandate. If you give him, I will shoot him. And today he finds himself sitting comfortably. We lost almost 200 people on the streets of Lagos because they were following the dictum of the late Gandhi,
we lost
who said, protest is the voice of the unheard. It was that continuous protest by the people that gave birth to the recognition we had from Buhari and his apology. We've never had it in this country, and nobody would ever believe that with the Spartan look of Buhari, Buhari will condescend to apologize. I mean, let's take it in that faith. All the wrongs cannot be corrected in a day.
And as I said again, in the holy month.
In the holy month of Ramadan. That's why I said earlier that it's a divine something. That this year's June 12 is coming in the month of Ramadan, where the whole world is united under the words of the Almighty God. Okay. That you should tolerate yourself, you should promote peace, you should promote tolerance, selflessness, love, unity, comradeship, and concord.
Nelson, a truth commission should not be confused with a criminal prosecution.
No, definitely
They are
not.
two different things.
They are two different things because a truth commission is about unearthing facts like an investigative committee, while a prosecution committee is about, having gotten the
punishes
the facts, goes ahead to explore the procedures of the law to get punishment. But, like we always say, we have this proverb in Yoruba land that tí ọmọdé bá ṣubú awowájú, tí àgbà bá ṣubú awoẹ̀yìnwò. It is very, very instructive. Let me interpret for our non-Yoruba watching audience that, look, when a child falls, the child stands up and continues to run and is likely to fall again. But when an adult falls down or trips, the adult looks back that what could have necessitated my fall. So that is where we are today. On June 12, 1993, we had the opportunity to rewrite the history of Nigeria. Because looking at that mandate, it was a pan-Nigerian mandate. It was a mandate that, was devoid of all the sentiments that had, divided us all over the years. For the first time in our political history, we found people rejecting even their own son. You recollect that in Tofa, in his ward, in his polling unit in Kano, he lost. And the irony of it all was even that he went to the polling unit with a voter's card that was not his. So he couldn't vote even on that day.
He did not.
He did not vote on that day.
And you had wives voting against the husband.
Against the husband. That, look, you are not competent for this. So it tells you clearly that June 12, what Mr. President has done now, I don't think it was the making of Mr. President. Like he rightly said, it was divine. Because since June 12, 1993 till date, Nigeria has known no peace. And it is our fervent belief, because we as human beings, we are made up of the spiritual and the physical component, that the divine nature of June 12, the declaration by Mr. President, could be the beginning of a new chapter in our political history.
All right. Just to tell the viewer, very soon we'll turn the microphone over to you, just so you be a part of the debate this morning. I hear we have a Mukhtar is calling us from.
Mukhtar.
Yeah, welcome, Mukhtar.
Mukhtar is the name.
Welcome, Mukhtar.
Good morning. Good morning.
We greet you.
Let me contribute something which is in line with the June 12. You see, Buhari, as now a Democrat, should go back to the history and make his business concluded by saying the 1983 coup, which he led, he should also apologize to Shagari, because he was then a military and anti-democrat. Now he is the president of the Nigeria under democratic settings. So he should start my history and apologize to Shagari.
Oh yeah, the line is muffled, but gentlemen, you got him first time.
Yeah, we got him first time.
It's in tandem with the proverb you shared. We have it in my Ibibio land.
Yeah.
I say so. When the child falls, he looks ahead. A kamba womadwo, I say them. When the elderly falls, he looks back.
Yeah.
Mr. President has just set the tone.
Yes, Mr.
Let's assume, put him in the place of the elderly who fell. He's looking back.
Very, very true. It's unfortunate that
he's not done with it.
Yes, no, he's not done. This is just the beginning, a tip of the iceberg. The last speaker, for me, I think he was trying to trivialize the import of what has happened. And that is the admonition we are here to talk to our fellow Nigerians. If you are saying President Muhammadu Buhari should apologize for the 83 coup, I want to remind him or inform him that that coup was not executed with the participation of Mr. President. It was just a group of officers who organized that coup, and in order to give credibility to it, drafted Mr. President to head the country so that they will, they will have credibility. Also, if we are going that way, we would as well ask for the late Aguiyi Ironsi to be exhumed, or late
can you count them?
You can't count them, you know, that they should come and apologize.
Okay, then we will go over to Ghana, where Maxwell is patiently waiting. Maxwell, good morning to you.
Good morning, Mr. Jones, and good morning to our guest.
We greet you.
I am very, very surprised that my former boss will descend to this, stage to apologize.
Who is your former boss?
For what? Buhari.
Okay.
I started when he was a PTF. I was in the military then. He is a man that does not, he takes his stand. And if you see it the other way, he will not, no matter what you say about
Maxwell, let's help you. But here we are. This is a new Buhari you are watching.
Yes, please. What I'm saying is this. I am very, very surprised that he will come this time, to come at this time to apologize for the ills of his colleagues in the past. It is a good thing. Nigerians have waited for this for a long, long time. But I will also say that it shouldn't have been this time because our government in Nigeria is allowing, creating opportunities for Nigerians to speculate. As you sit down there, Mr. Jones, you will realize that there are so many people now that are saying, oh, it is because of 2019. But it's better late than, never.
Because Maxwell, if I have a little intercourse with you, is there any such thing as doing a wrong thing at the right time? Or the other way around?
You see, the bottom line, the bottom line just to make the people that you are serving to be happy and recognize that you have their interests at heart, whether at the wrong time or at the right time, sir.
So there's nothing bad with doing the right thing at the right time, or correcting a wrong
all good, in as much
at
as
a time.
The people that are involved are happy about it.
Okay. Maxwell, many thanks. Many thanks. Maxwell is sitting on the fence, and there are people like him.
No, Citizen Jones, you see, we need to inform ourselves once again that what is the essence of politics or governance? It is to make the citizens happy. It is hearkening to their cries. As a man, that is why anytime I look at the Nigerian women, I always bless them. You know why? Even when you don't have a job, if you play your politics well at home, without putting down a kobo, your wife will put meal on your table. So life itself is politics.
It is politics.
So if a government is in power, even if it is 30 minutes to go, and the government says, oh, my people have been crying for this thing, let me accede to their demands. Is that a wrong thing to do?
But many wives are listening to you now.
No, I'm just blessing the Nigerian women.
I'm just rubbing that in. So a number of people are sitting on the fence regarding the gesture by Mr. President. And these are the people we are appealing to. Whose sentiments we are appealing to?
They are sitting on the fence because they still cannot believe what happened.
Okay.
But those that this thing happened to accepted that apology and praised the man. And events across the nation that we are going through today were brought to the fore through Kongi, Professor Wole Soyinka, the then Speaker, then the then leaders of the Senate then. They don't all belong to the same party with Mr. President. They all belong to different sections and different parties and different religious interests.
And another gentleman I would have loved to see there would have been Professor Nwosu Humphrey,
yes.
The electoral umpire. But let me quickly take Mazi Okorafor in Arochukwu. I greet you, sir.
Good morning, Sir Jones.
I greet you, sir.
Good morning, Daniel. Good morning, our guests in the studio.
Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Speaking, Mr. Jones, and our guests in the studio. The Tuesday ceremony, I will start with forgive and forget forever. Forgive and forget forever. So I have to thank Mr. President for the job well done. It's a welcome development, at least, that shown us that the spirit that the Bible says forgive and forget, please, is very, very important. Even the Holy Quran said the same thing. Now, what I'm issuing now, Mr. Jones, I would like the President to look into this issue of the Civil War episode. This issue of abandoned property in Cross River, Akwa Ibom, Rivers, and Rivers State. People ran away during the Civil War, and when they came back, they cannot claim their property. I think this is another issue that is a wound to people during that Civil War.
Mazi, if Mazi was watching from the beginning, we said whatever happened on Tuesday was an ideal source for reconciling the freed and injured minds and hearts in the country. He's right. Go back there. And a former Senate president was at the head of the abandoned property.
Oh, yes.
You remember?
Oh, yes.
In Port Harcourt?
Yes.
As a major?
Definitely.
I wish we had a critical mass like that of...
You see, if what happened in the Southwest after the Civil War, where the property of those who fled to the East were returned to them, where most of their business interests were protected, if we had the same thing happening to them in areas where they were fighting for the return of their properties, the reconciliation would have come so early. But take a look at it. Adakaboro and Co., they too saw the injustice being perpetrated against them. So the whole issue became what one would call yam pepper scatter scatter. They killed Adakaboro. Saro-Wiwa took over.
Sorry, let me quickly take Benga in Abuja. We are provoking a lot of minds.
Hello,
now.
good morning.
I greet you, sir. Welcome.
Good morning.
Welcome.
Yes. Mr. John, good morning.
I greet you, sir.
My guest there, good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Mr. Jones, when we talk of reconciliation...
Sorry, Mr. Hussein.
Hussein, sorry.
Yeah.
When we talk of reconciliation, we have to look at the other side of it. We have been looking at the people that fought for June 12, that contributed to the source of June 12 before it was truncated. Who are the people that connived with the military to cause the havoc on June 12? Like the ABN, Association of Better Nigeria, led by Francis Otto Nzeribe, Abiola did this. They need to come and they need to come and take an apology to the whole of Nigeria, because they worked with the military to truncate that election. They went to court to get an injunction that election should not be held at an eve of the election around 8 o'clock in Abuja. These are things that contributed. So we need to, they are still alive. They need to come and give the whole Nigerian the apology for what they did to cause the truncation of the June 12th. Thank you very much.
Many thanks. I said last week on this platform, gentlemen, that three men alive today have the opportunity, the time to make peace with their souls. And I mentioned
Abdulsalam
Abubakar, General Ibrahim Babangida, and of course, Senator Francis Atto Nzeribe. They still have the ample opportunity. But again, it tells you, you can't wish away a Truth and Reconciliation Commission. If you don't call it that, give it a name.
Well,
bring the aggrieved and the aggressor.
Okay, but Citizen Jones, you also recollect that when we had that Truth and Reconciliation Commission there...
Was it really a Truth and Reconciliation Commission?
Well, that was the name given to it. It was, maybe we say a fact-finding commission. But at the end of the day, you recollect...
I'll give you the real name.
Okay.
Human Rights Violations Investigation Commission.
Okay. Yeah, that wasn't a Truth and Reconciliation Commission. I agree. Yes, but the truth of the matter is that, you know, in the spirit of the moment now, because even by Mr. President giving that apology on behalf of the government of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, you and I know very well that lives that have been lost cannot be returned. And, you know, in that spirit, for some of us, that is how to be a statesman.
All right, pause you there. Yakub is here. He's here in Lagos. Yakub, I greet you. Hello, Yakub. Are we in business? All right, better luck next time, yeah.
So, like the Bible says, that God says, vengeance is mine. You know, realistically speaking, there are some things as human beings, when somebody has wronged you, that you feel you want to take vengeance.
You cannot.
If you cannot, you live, you know, like you rightly said, I was there on that program last week, where you just admonish these 3 Nigerians to make peace with their soul.
The time is still there.
The time is still there. For me, even with the annulment and what former dictator Ibrahim Babangida did, if because of his health condition, if he had stayed in his house on that June 12, as President Muhammadu Buhari was honoring some of the heroes of democracy, because somebody is talking about those who have lost their lives and what have you. We can't. I was at a program 2 days ago. You can't take account of what we went through. You can't write it in a year. You can't.
All right, Yakub is here finally. Yakub, let's have you. Good morning.
Hello.
Yeah, I greet you.
Yeah, good morning, Citizen Jones.
Let's go, sir.
And good morning to your guys in the studio.
Good morning, sir.
Yeah. I think for me, the apology by Mr. President that very particular day, he was the one that caught out every Nigerian citizen that they really, really applaud Mr. President. But Citizen Jones, I want to say this. We have 4 apologies that very particular day. The one that Mr. President says is welcome by every Nigerian citizen. The second one by Afsat Abiola is also welcome by Nigerian citizens. And then we had another 2 apologies that read by the person that is conducting the occasion that day by Mr. former President Olusegun Obasanjo, and then another one by IDB. I think when the man is read the apology letter to the people on the podium.
No, Yakub, hold it. Yeah, Yakub, let's
not being able to attend.
They apologize for their absence.
That's what I'm saying. I think they're supposed to be there. The one apology says that due to some certain reason, I'm not going to be there. That one says that I travel out of the country.
Yakub, it's too late to quarrel with that. But we are here. I understand you.
But what I want to say here is this. I really give Mr. President the kudos. And then Nigerian citizens, every 1,000 miles fetch from we want test. And then people are saying that he ought to do this, he ought to do that. But we start from one point. Thanks and God bless you.
Yeah. So let's even go there.
Okay.
Chief Obasanjo said he was away in Norway. Am I right?
Norway. Yeah.
And the general health condition, he specifically stated my health.
Yes.
So you are giving him the benefit of the doubt.
Definitely.
He may have been there if his health was.
Yes.
Yeah.
So for me, I think even if former dictator Ibrahim Babangida had made, maybe a YouTube announcement that Nigerians, I'm sorry. Honestly, it will have gone a long way in changing the narratives. No matter what.
Nelson, the time is still there.
Yes, I agree. But that was a golden opportunity.
As we said, Mr. President must have had, it took him more than sheer guts to go there.
Very true.
So it's never too late.
It's never too late. We can only admonish him, because even yours sincerely sitting down here, I know a lot of bitterness towards ex-dictator Ibrahim Badamasi Babangida because of how he thwarted the destiny of the Nigerian people, how he disunited us to where we are.
Wasted lives.
How he wasted lives and what have you.
Let's welcome Felix. He's here in Lagos. Felix, I greet you. Good morning. Felix, are you there?
Yeah, good morning.
Yeah, let's go.
Yeah.
You are on.
Yeah, hello, good morning.
I greet you.
Good morning.
Yeah, good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Yeah, please, I'm not trying to too far. I really accept the apology of President Buhari. But one thing I want to know, can somebody explain to me, was in any way where Abiola got involved in ICT? We don't have to forget all these things. So I don't know why people are shouting at if Abiola is on the side. How is he involved in this?
Felix, who amongst us here, maybe outside of this studio, talked about Abiola as a messiah? June 12 has nothing to do with a messiah. Please, Felix, maybe the idea is to debrief you now. Abiola contested an election, right or wrong? You can't fault
Abiola,
that.
the businessman, is different from Abiola, the politician.
The politician. They're two different people.
Two different extremes.
Which, of course, begs a truth and reconciliation. Abiola is dead, but he has children.
Very true.
And
But his spirit
survivors.
is alive.
Yeah, so he can defend IDT. So
That is
these are some of the.
that is a diversion, complete
Kule,
diversion.
I talked about many people sitting on the fence. A lot of people cannot be persuaded because we have covered a lot of things under the carpet.
That was why I said earlier on that the banning of the teaching of history did a lot of damage to our national physique. And those who did it, they knew what they want to do with the future of this country. And I thank God they are alive.
And as I started, I said Biafra agitation comes from the bloody civil war, which was triggered by a poorly executed military coup.
Very true.
In like manner, the Niger Delta dissension comes from perceived alienation.
Very true.
There are two ways of
very true.
operating.
Very true.
So we must go back there.
Definitely, we need to go back. We need to address these injustices. But, in addressing them, we must put aside all these preconceived notions. We should put aside all this animosity. That is the only way we'll be ready to forgive one another.
All right, then. I hear Emmanuel is reaching us from London. I greet you. Morning. Brother Emmanuel. No luck.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning, I greet you.
Yeah, good morning. Yes, I know that we are going
Ignore the holdback. Just go on.
Abiola. But the problem is that why can't they think about what causes the June 12 problem?
Okay.
What is the cause of the June 12 problem? Is it not because of the Hausa? They don't want to release the power to any of the Nigerians?
All right, until Obasanjo came, who was another northerner. Emmanuel. Again, these are the...
Yes.
Okay. Abiola, Jonathan were not northerners.
Hello, can you hear me?
I should ask, can you hear me?
Obasanjo was not a northerner too.
So you must expect pockets of dissension.
No, it's good for democracy.
It is good for democracy.
It's good for democracy. Variety is the spice of
And
life.
But Kunle and Nelson, can we look at one enduring and naughty problem in this country? Mutual suspicion
Yes.
and mutual disaffection?
Yes, that is very true. And, it is because of the fact that, the elites have always played these ethnic cards against the people. You look at the June 12 issue that he mentioned, I'm sure he knows that the then head of state was a military general. And the Nigerian military is peopled by Nigerians of all ethnic nationalities. And when the generals are pursuing their own interest, it is not that they are pursuing the interest of the generality of the army, but pursuing their individual or class interests.
Nelson, let me quickly welcome Opara here in Lagos. I greet you, sir. Welcome. Hello. He's not quite ready. Yeah.
And the most dangerous thing is that they have introduced the politics of religion, which we never knew in the past. The Nigeria of yore, everybody celebrates whatever festival together.
Kule and Nelson, do you know, I look back and I used to look forward to Eid al-Fitr, which is tomorrow.
Yes.
Because our friends were going to bring meat and rice.
No, some of us still exhibit that character that we inherited from my parents. As I'm sitting down here, I have uncles who are Muslims that when my children go to their homes for the holidays, by the time my children return back to school, at times my children teachers call me to ask that, Mr. Kujumi, are you a Muslim or a Christian? Your daughter is going to the mosque. I say, whatever religion she wants to practice, so be it.
It's a personal thing.
It's a personal thing.
So you were saying. So at what point did we become mad?
Well, the whole thing is a creation of the long military interregnum we had in this country. We must not shy away from it. We must not shy away from it.
They are our brothers and sisters.
There are our brothers and sisters. If they had addressed this June 12 while Abiola was in detention, but most of them, they were afraid of their own shadows because they knew Abiola had the people behind him. And that if he was given the powers, he would address quite a lot of things that will throw most of them off balance. But at the end of the day, were they not thrown off balance? A man that died 20 years ago, we've not been able to repatriate his loot. And we may not be able to do that completely within our own generation. It shows how bad, how terrible, how dehumanized these people turned our society into.
So it's not, as the last caller suggested, a question of a section of the country wanting to keep power to itself.
I don't think so. If it was so,
but you've
if
heard
it was so,
you have heard it.
If it was so, sir,
yeah,
the doctrine of necessity that threw up Jonathan wouldn't have come in. They would have opted that,
You're closing your thoughts. You're closing your thoughts.
Okay, my thoughts, if I'm closing my thoughts, we should, for God's sake, take a cue from the spirit of this holy month of Ramadan. Within which the president of the federation came out publicly. That has never been done in this country. If past presidents had apologized for their wrongdoings, or African heads of state have been doing what Buhari did on June 12, Africa would have been a different thing. Nigerians should unite against evil, unite against any form of religious division, any form of killings, any form of actions that will put the unity of this country in jeopardy.
Nelson, how do you close?
Yes, my closing thought is to admonish my fellow countrymen that the time has come for us to focus on the issues that concerns you and I. People talking this mutual mistrust, we've had it severally.
Too much.
Today, we have a President Muhammadu Buhari who is a Muslim from the northern part of the country, who has recognized an election of the Nigerian people, which was won by a Yoruba man, an Egba man, of which an Egba man was president for 8 years.
I never
addressed it.
I never mentioned it.
Of which today, President Muhammadu Buhari, a northerner, is addressing the issue of infrastructural deficit. Look at the Lagos, or Benin Expressway today. Look at the Lagos-Abeokuta Expressway, where we had our president for 8 years come from. Look at the Papala-Ntoto Shagamu. So for some of us,
even the Badr Expressway,
all these
look at the billions that are gone down.
Today, when you go to Murtala Mohammed Way in Ebute Metta there, you see trucks with containerized trucks. That is telling you that this government has revived the railway industry. So for some of us, it is not about religion or ethnicity, but about the common denominator affecting the lives of the Nigerian people.
That's Comrade Nelson Nekujimi. I thank you very kindly for coming.
Thank you, Citizen Jose.
Comrade Kunle Odufua.
Thank you.
Many thanks, sir.
Thank you, my brother.
Folks, we must wrap the show up at this point, but not before telling you this. The time for a real Truth and Reconciliation Commission could be now. And the idea is not to punish any wrong, but to address pains, to address wounds, try heal wounds, because reconciliation is the end of an estrangement, or if you like, a disaffection. So many people in this country are disaffected from north to south, east to west. History beckons. Bye-bye now. There's another program tomorrow. I'm out of here.